Welcome back to the Crochet Tutor. Today I'm going to show you a new stitch. I have no idea what it's actually called. To me, I call it the waffle stitch, but there's another stitch actually called the waffle stitch. So it looks like these little raised squares, and I've seen it done in stripes, which looks really nice as well, but as you can see in this solid blue, it actually looks really gorgeous as well. So this will be the tutorial video on how to do it, and then stay tuned for a subsequent video where I'll show you how to do these pouches that I'm going to make multiples of and just put on a rustic stick, just organization style pouches. I think it'll look really good with this gorgeous stitch. So to get started, obviously you need your yarn and your crochet hook in matching gauges. So I've got a 5mm and a number 4 worsted weight yarn. So for this tutorial, I'm just going to start with a simple small swatch. So slip knot onto your hook. I'm doing a chain of 15 for this sample because I've got a secondary piece that I'm going to stitch together, and it was a chain of 15. So it needs to be an odd number, just because you're not gonna, this last stitch on your chain is just gonna be your turning stitch. So it's an even number across. It'll be 14 stitches across in the finished piece of work. So the 15th stitch is just that turning chain. So for row 1, just work a single crochet in every stitch along the chain. So in the first stitch or the second stitch back on your hook, you'll do your first single crochet, and then continue in single crochet along the entire foundation chain until you're back at the other end. All right, so I'm back here with my round 1, which is just single crochet across. So for round 2, it's going to be the start of our 2-row repeat until the end of your work. So chain 1, that does not count as a stitch, and turn your work. Okay. Now what we're going to do in this row across is on each end of every row is just a standard single crochet into stitch 1, and the final stitch of the row is going to be a single crochet. It's in every row. So the first one, standard single crochet, and it's going to go through both loops, I guess, of the stitch. So when you're looking at that V on top, you're going through both a standard single crochet stitch. For the rest of the stitches in this row, you want to work just in. For every other stitch along this row, we're going to work in front loop only. And what that means is when you're looking at the top of the stitch, and you can see there are 2, it makes a V. So there are 2 layers. So this one furthest away from the front of your work is the back loop. So if we were to work in the back loop, we would be working in that stitch. For the front loop, we're working in this one. So just like a regular stitch, we're going in from the front and grabbing just that one loop. Okay? So just like a stitch, but in that one loop. Yarn over and pull your yarn through. And like a normal single crochet, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay? And we're doing that for all of these stitches across except the last one, which will be a standard single crochet. So when you're looking at that V, you want your hook to go just through the front. And as you do this a few times, it actually is quite natural and quite easy to do. So continue along this row, working in front loop only, single crochets, until you get to the end of your row. And remember to do a regular standard single crochet through both loops for your last stitch. So I'm at the end of row 2, and you'll see I have 1 stitch left. It's that awkward end stitch that kind of lays on its side. So for this last stitch, I don't want just this front loop. I want both. I want the entire V. You'll see I have 2 pieces. It's hard to see, I guess, but 2 pieces. So I have collected that entire stitch. That is a standard single crochet. And I'll pull my yarn through, yarn over, and pull through 2 for my last stitch. Okay, so that was row 1 of the 2 row repeat. It's row 3 or 2, I guess, in our project. But in this 2 row repeat, that is row 1. And this is going to be the back of your work, which looks very flat in comparison to the front, which has those ridges. So you can see in the light here, this is the front where you're getting those nice squares. The back is actually quite flat with not as much texture. So for the next row, chain 1 and turn your work. The chain 1 is not a stitch. Okay, so now this is where it gets a bit tricky. So as I mentioned, the very first stitch will be standard single crochet, same as the last stitch. That will continue through the entire pattern. So first stitch is a normal standard single crochet. Now for the second stitch, what you're looking for is these, hopefully you can see this, these ridges. And what they are is they are the back loops from the last row where you worked in the front loops. Okay, so you want to work into those ridges. I'm just going to grab a better light here. Okay, I've got some better light in here now. So if you can see these ridges right across there, I'll just show you with my hook here. This is what you're looking for, that stitch right there. Okay, and you'll see them all the way across. You'll actually notice that the very first one does not have that because we worked a standard single crochet in the first one. So you did your first single crochet into stitch 1. So into this ridge right here, this front loop from your previous row, you're gonna work 2 double crochets together. So you're going to yarn over your hook, you're going to go through that little front loop, okay, yarn over and pull through a loop, okay, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and you're going to stop and not pull through those second loops, okay. Now you're going to do a second, or the start of a second double crochet. So yarn over, go into that same front loop, okay, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through your first 2 loops again. Now you have 3 loops on your hook, and you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. And that is double crochet 2 together. And you'll notice that that's sort of sitting in front of that second row because you worked into that stitch below. Okay, so your next stitch is a single crochet into the next stitch from the top row. So this single crochet here that's behind that stitch, that one, is not going to get worked into because we worked into the lower level. So into the next single crochet stitch, we're just going to do a standard single crochet. And that is what's generating this lovely elevated square look. So on the back, you can, well, I guess you can't see it so well now. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, so the next one, again, we're working down in this front loop from the previous row. You'll see we're skipping this front loop because we did a single crochet on that level. So we're skipping this one. So again, we're double crocheting 2 together. So yarn over, okay, go through that front loop. You'll see I like to fold my work because it makes that loop easy to grab. Yarn over, pull through, okay, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and stop my double crochet there. And then I'm going to yarn over, back through that same loop, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, and stop there. So I now have 3 loops on my hook, and I will yarn over and pull through all 3. 2 double crochet stitches together. Okay, now I want to single crochet in the next stitch in the top level, not the front loop. So as I look back, I can see where I'm working. I can see, I don't know if I can get a good look at that, but I can see the last one I worked into. I'm going to skip this next one and do a single crochet into this next stitch. Oops, sorry, I need my yarn on the back there. There we go, yarn over, and pull through 2. Okay, so I have 2 double crochet 2 togethers that are making those bobbles, those squares that you'll see in the final work. And you can again see that single crochet here is lined up above the loop that we are not working into. So we're going to do our double crochet 2 together into this next front loop here. Okay, and then we'll be skipping this upper single crochet and doing our next single crochet into this one, where we'll skip the front loop and move into the next one. Okay, so yarn over, you want this next loop here, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and stop. Yarn over through that same loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and 3 loops left on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Okay, and we're skipping this stitch on the upper level and single crocheting into this stitch. Again, my yarn is the wrong way. So when you look at it, make sure you put your yarn back behind your hook so that when you go through, you have the yarn to pull up your loop. Okay, and pull through 2. So we've done 3 of those. Okay, I'm just going to work with you for the rest because there aren't that many left. So again, we're going to skip this one. We're going to work into this front loop here, yarn over into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, stop there, yarn over, back through the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, stop there, yarn over, pull through all 3. And then on the back side, we skip that stitch and we work into that stitch a single crochet. Okay, and then we skip this front loop below our single crochet. We work into this one, double crochet 2 together, yarn over, go into that loop there, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, yarn over, back through the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then single crochet, not into this stitch, into this stitch. Okay. We're skipping this loop below our single crochet and we're going to work into the next one. 2 double crochets, yarn over into our loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 and stop, yarn over, work into the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, and pull through all 3. And you will notice at this point that the last 2 stitches in your row are all that's left. And so in that final stitch is your last standard single crochet. To that last stitch, pull through 2 and chain 1 before turning your work. So that is now row 2 of the repeat pattern. So to continue on for the rest of this, we're going to turn our work. We're going to do a standard single crochet in the first stitch, front loop only, single crochet all the way across, standard single crochet in the end. The second repeat of that pattern is what we just did, which is the double crochet 2 together I'm calling it front loop, but it was the back loop of this row that we did not work into. Okay, so let's just repeat this again. So regular single crochet into your first stitch, front loop only the rest of the way across. We need to leave these back loops to work into those double crochet 2 together stitches. Need those loops, so only front loop for the rest of the row across. And when you get to that last stitch, remember, it's the second to last stitch, stay in the front loop. The very last stitch, you want to make sure you're grabbing both loops and you're doing a standard single crochet. Okay, so you've got both the top and the bottom of that V on top of your hook for the last stitch. It just makes a really nice edge on both sides, and you don't have any like bumps in and out. It's a nice straight edge. Okay, so that is row 1 of the repeat 2-row pattern. Again, chain 1, turn your work. Again, single crochet into stitch 1. Okay, and then into stitch 2. Again, we're looking for this loop from our previous row, the level down, and we're doing double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, insert your hook into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2 and stop, yarn over, through that stitch again, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops on your hook, pull through all 3, and then again, we are not working into that single crochet, but into the next one. And we're just doing a single crochet, and then we're double crocheting 2 together. So skipping that loop there. It's a lot easier to see in the second row than the first row where we're going into these stitches. So the one we're skipping kind of tucks itself in, whereas the one we're working into is right here on top of this bobble, or this the double crochet 2 together. So you can see the next front loop that you want to work into is right there. So it gets easier as you go into this second row. So again, you're doing two double crochets together. So yarn over, go into that loop at the top of that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go back into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3. Okay, and again, skipping the next single crochet and going into the next single crochet at the top, just one single crochet, and then double crochet 2 together again into this stitch right above our previous bobble or double crochet 2 together stitch. There's a nice elongated front loop stitch that is easy to find. So yarn over, go into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, back through that stitch again, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and finally yarn over and pull through all 3. So that is our repeat pattern of 2 rows, and you can continue in this pattern for as long as you want your piece to be. I am working on pouches that will hang from a rustic piece of wood to store any kind of items, your crochet hooks for example, or pencils or anything like that. So this piece I've already done. This is the same wood, the one we're working on. So once I complete, the same amount of rows, I'm going to stitch these 2 together. And the inside doesn't have the same texture, so the insides will go together with the outsides having this stitch with the kind of square looking textured pattern. And I will perhaps put a video up shortly showing you how to actually put these together, create the pouch, create the loops, and what it will look like when it's hanging on a piece of rustic wood, which I think looks really unique and fun in your house. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you with our next video.